Okay, so if just one person had success manifesting their SP or their desire using these principles, would you consider that proof? Would you consider that a coincidence? And what if 5? What if 10 people did it? What if 20 people did it? What if 50 people did it? That's crazy, right? 50 people is already crazy. But it's not 50 though. It's not even 100. It's thousands. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are manifesting their SP and have manifested their SP successfully using these principles. Now, what do all those people have in common? The potential circumstance, yes, and the fact that they persisted. They had to persist. They had to persist no matter what. Do you think that any of those people are better than you? Do you think any of them are more qualified than you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I had a former one-on-one message me 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. And we had several weekly sessions, right? And her circumstances were, let's say circumstancing, they were a lot, right? And she had so many doubts. She wavered so much. And one of her main doubts was, but how is it going to happen? Like, because of the circumstances. And I always told her, circumstances don't matter, 1. And 2, it is inevitable for it to happen. So she was all over the place, frustrated, crying, impatient, angry, and all of that, similar to me in my journey. But she persisted through every single one of those emotions. Every single one. She persisted, crying, annoyed, she persisted. And 2 days ago, she messages me and telling me that her SP came back. No contact before that. He didn't message her, he didn't call her, no social media. They didn't see each other, nothing. I'm just thinking about it now, and it's like, it's so wild. I love manifestation. I love these principles so much. Like I always say, like you expect it to happen because you're doing it, but it's like when it happens, it's just like, it's amazing. And girl, I know you're watching this, so again, congratulations. I wish you guys all the best, and now it's time to maintain it, okay? Keep going. So anyway, none of those people who successfully manifested their SP and or their desire, whatever it is, are better than you and are not more qualified than you. They just persisted. They disciplined themselves to persist. So what I want you to understand is that manifestation is not some mystical, spiritual thing that you have to believe in order for it to work. It's like with gravity. You know, you don't have to believe in gravity for it to apply to you. But if you understand how it works, you use it to your advantage, which we as a collective society, you know, we understand it, thankfully. But if you don't and you just go about your day not thinking about it, it still applies to you, right? And the same with manifestation, the same with creating and shaping your reality. Up until now, we have been doing it unconsciously with default assumptions, default beliefs, default thought patterns, and behavioral patterns. Just the way it is. But now we're doing it deliberately. Now we're doing it consciously. Now we are actually selecting. And if you want to take it even a step further, you and we have a little filter in our brains called the reticular activating system, the RAS. And that's like I said, like a personal little filter that seeks out evidence of your dominant beliefs. So it filters out everything that is irrelevant to your beliefs. So let's say you wanna buy a new car, a red car. All of a sudden, you're gonna be seeing red cars everywhere. Now, that's not a coincidence. That is your RAS at work. And let's say one of your dominant beliefs is that SP is just distant and cold and maybe not that interested. Your RAS is going to make sure to seek out evidence that proves that, because your RAS always wants to prove you right. And so now if you're deliberately, actively, and consciously forming new beliefs, guess which beliefs are going to be seeked out for evidence to you by your brain? Right. The new ones, the favorable ones. And that's a neurological fact. So your mind is always going to go out and seek what is true for you, and reality will bend and shift to match it, no matter what, always. Which is so important, why I always say to select and choose favorable outcomes, favorable beliefs and assumptions, experiences and versions of people that you want to experience. It's like when I think about, one of my past relationships of like almost 9 years, that was a pretty toxic relationship. Like, not pretty toxic, it was toxic. Let's just be real. It was very toxic. And the way that I was treated in that relationship, I get it now. I did some reverse engineering and, dissected my beliefs at that time, my assumptions, my thought patterns, my behavioral patterns. Like I just dissected myself as a whole. And not that it was my fault, not that it was your fault. It's just that those were the assumptions and beliefs that we formed as individuals up until that moment. And yeah, sometimes we form these unfavorable assumptions and beliefs unwillingly, not even knowingly that we formed them, but we formed them by, personal experiences, by our friends' experiences, by families, by, your upbringing, TV, social media, whatever. Like everything influences us. So that's why mental diet is so important. So you're not manipulating, you're not forcing, you're not begging or chasing anybody to do anything. You're not playing with somebody else's free will. You are simply selecting and choosing the version of that person that aligns with your desired reality. And not just that, you are selecting and choosing the version of that person that chooses you, that wants to choose you, that wants to be with you, that loves you willingly. You are choosing that version. That is not manipulation. Again, that is you choosing, because it wasn't manipulation or anything like that when we were dwelling in the worst case scenario, in the worst expectations, assumptions, right? But when we want to select something that's favorable to us, then that's manipulation? No, it's all selection. We are always selecting. And I know a lot of you say that your SP is stubborn, is cold, is firm in their decisions, but I'm sure that's not the only version of your SP that you ever experienced, right? Which proves that versions are not fixed. You can always choose. And every single version of your SP exists in the great quantum field, in the great field of infinite possible outcomes. And even that was backed by quantum mechanics with the observer effect, which stated that every single particle exists in a state of probability until observed. So when you persist in one version of many potential versions of your SP, it has to collapse on your reality, which to us as humans comes as a little process. We persist, we see signs, then they're silenced, and all of a sudden we have detachment, and then we have a wave of confidence, and then it's radio silence again, and then boom, manifestation is here, manifestation complete. Point is, your 3D will always end up showing you what you dominantly persist in and or your dominant beliefs. So just like, let's say you have an assumption money is hard to get. I'm sure that's what you have been experiencing up until now, right? Or your assumption is you are just not that good with guys or with girls. That's probably been your experience, right? So that's not a coincidence. That just proves that we always operate under the same principles of reality, all of us, in our own way. So why is it inevitable? Because that's literally how reality works. No force on this earth can stop it from happening. It is inevitable for it to happen. And even if you doubt and you waver and you fall back and whatever, so what? Does that mean you can't get back on track? If you fall down in the middle of a 5-mile run, does that mean you have to go back and start, or even worse, give up? No, just get back up and continue. Keep going. You can always get back on track. All of you have successfully manifested their SP. You're just now experiencing how you got to that reality. You're experiencing the steps. So congratulations, you did it, and you got this.